So now we're going to talk about two more related concepts to point lines and rays, or points, lines, and planes, and those are segments and rays. The segment is the one we will use a lot in geometry, so learn the segment well. The segment is just part of a line consisting of two endpoints and all the points between them. And we name it using the two endpoints. It has to be endpoints when we do the naming of a segment. The symbol is very similar to the line, except that there are no arrows because the segment does not keep going on. The arrow always indicates it continues onwards for infinity. So we cut it off, and we don't actually put points on the end of that segment. We just have it as a short line, and it always appears above the letters. So in our example, we have many segments to choose from. I can do AD or DA. We can go either order for the entire segment. I also have smaller segments in this. I have AB, I have BC, I have CD. I also have ones that jump letters, so AC or BD, and of course reverse any of those letters as needed. So lots of segments that I could name just in that one diagram. Now the ray starts at one endpoint and extends without end in exactly one direction. So it is named using the endpoint first. The endpoint has to be first, and then just any other point on the ray. So what we're looking at here, the symbol is kind of a mixture of the segment and the line. So one end has the end point, it stops, and the other end goes on forever. We always draw it with the end point first, and then we extend towards the right and put the arrow. And so no matter which direction our ray is actually going on the paper, we always name the end point first. So in our example here, while we think of we like to read left to right and we see the A. That is not where we're going to start because the A is at the arrow end of our ray. We actually have to start with C. Now, when we start with C, we actually have a choice. We can either, as we go in the direction of the arrow, because that's what the ray is, it goes in the direction of the arrow, we can either name it CA or CB because both of those points are on our ray. We have a special case of rays that are called opposite rays. These are kind of important rays, pairs of rays that we really want to learn. First off, opposite rays are collinear. So that's why my diagram here looks like a line. It's because they are always going to be collinear. And they will extend, however, in opposite directions. So that's how the line gets created. One arrow goes one way, the other arrow goes the other way. But also important is they have a common or shared endpoint. And so when you put them together, they actually do form the line. So in our diagram, we have one set and only one set of opposite rays. No matter what you think, we have exactly one set because we only have three letters shown. So the shared point has to be C because it's in the middle and we can go in both directions from C. If I started at A, I could not name the ray that points to the left because there's no points there for me to use. Same with B. If I started with B as my endpoint, there is nothing to the right of B for me to successfully name my ray. So I have to use C as the endpoint. And so the names would be CA and ray CB. And normally that is actually how we read this. We say ray CA and ray CB, even though this is how we write it.